All right, diving in today, folks, we've got a really interesting one you guys sent in. It's all about the decorator design pattern.
Yeah, this is a good one. It's pretty cool.
Yeah, and I think the easiest way to kind of wrap your head around it is think about how you'd add some new features or some bells and whistles to, let's say, an existing piece of software.
Right, right. So like you've got this this program, right? And you want to add some new functionality to it.
Exactly, but you don't want to mess with the original code.
Exactly. You don't want to touch the original code. So what do?
Yeah, like for example, one of the things that you sent in was there's this tourism agency and they want to add like a temporary cancellation policy.
Right. Yeah, like a special offer maybe for a few months or something.
Exactly. Exactly. And they don't want to go in and modify the core of their booking system for that.
Right. Yeah, because it's temporary. It's not a permanent change.
So Decorator, this pattern, it gives you a way to kind of like, I guess the best word is wrap that functionality around the existing code without altering it permanently.
Yeah, it's like think of it like this. You've got this core object, right? It's like a basic travel package, Pache Kazar, as they call it in your notes.
Yeah, Pache Kazar. Okay.
Yeah, and you want to add this cancellation feature to it, but only for certain packages.
Right, only for a limited time.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So you create this this decorator, right? It's like a wrapper.
A wrapper.
And this wrapper, it basically adds the cancellation functionality on top of the existing Pache Kazar.
Got it. So you're not changing the Pache Kazar, you're just like putting this extra layer around it.
Exactly. And the cool thing is you can have multiple decorators, right? So you could have one for cancellation, one for I don't know, like a discount or something,
So you could stack them up.
Yeah, you can stack them up. It's like putting on layers of clothing, right?
Yeah. Oh, I like that analogy.
Yeah, you can add or remove layers as needed.
So in essence, this decorator pattern, it allows you to kind of on the fly modify or enhance the functionality of an object without touching the core of it.
Right, exactly. And it's really useful when you have these temporary or optional features that you want to add.
And I think one of the other advantages that you mentioned, and this is something that the sources highlighted, is that it helps you avoid creating like a ton of subclasses.
Oh, yeah, that's a big one. It can get really messy if you have to create a new subclass for every little variation you want. Decorator helps you keep things clean and organized.
Right. So instead of having like a Pache Kazar with cancellation, a Pache Kazar with a discount, and so on, you just have the base Pache Kazar, and then you wrap it with the appropriate decorators as needed.
Exactly. It keeps your code much more manageable and easier to understand.
Now, there was another interesting example in the sources, something about a hotel that wanted to add a holiday greeting and a discount to their invoices.
Oh, yeah, I remember that one. It's the same principle, right? They don't want to change their whole invoicing system just for the holidays.
Right. They just want to like spruce things up a bit for a limited time.
Exactly. So they can use a decorator to add that functionality just for the holiday season without affecting the normal invoices.
It's a pretty elegant solution when you think about it.
Yeah, it is. Decorator it's a really versatile pattern. It can be used in a lot of different situations.
And it's interesting to see how it ties in with some of the other patterns we've discussed, like adapter and strategy.
Yeah, they all deal with modifying objects in some way, but they each have their own specific focus. Adapter is about making things work together that wouldn't normally, like translating between different interfaces.
Right, bridging the gap.
Exactly. And strategy is about choosing different algorithms or behaviors at runtime.
So it's like picking the best tool for the job at a particular moment.
Yeah, something like that. But Decorator is about adding responsibilities or functionalities to an object dynamically.
So it's like giving an object superpowers, but only when it needs them.
Haha. Yeah, I like that. It's like a temporary upgrade.
Right, exactly. And what's cool is that the original object doesn't even know it's been decorated. It just keeps doing its thing, and the decorator handles the extra stuff behind the scenes.
It's a really clever way to add flexibility without making things overly complicated. But of course, it's not a magic bullet. If you start stacking up too many decorators, it can become a bit harder to keep track of what's going on.
Right, like anything, it needs to be used judiciously.
Exactly.
So I guess the big takeaway here is that the decorator pattern is a really powerful tool for extending the functionality of objects in a dynamic and flexible way.
Absolutely. And it's especially useful when you need to add temporary or optional features without altering the original code.
And it can be applied to a wide range of situations, not just software development.
Oh, yeah, definitely.
So for our listeners out there, I'd challenge you to think about other areas where this idea of adding features or enhancements temporarily might come into play. Maybe think about how you might secure your online accounts, or how you might add attachments to, let's say, a multi-tool. How would you do that in a way that doesn't permanently change the original thing?
It's a fun thought experiment.
It is. And it kind of highlights how these design patterns, these principles that we talk about, they can be applied to all sorts of problems, not just the ones we typically think of.
Exactly. They're all about finding elegant solutions to common challenges.
All right. Well, that wraps up our deep dive into the decorator pattern. Hopefully this gave you a good understanding of how it works and why it's so useful.
Absolutely. It's a great pattern to have in your toolkit.
And as always, thanks for listening.
Until next time.
See you later.